really need me to explain to you why women avoid a group of men who think that women don't deserve rights, they shouldn't vote, and basically that their only worth is cooking and cleaning and being barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen and basically being indentured servants to men, as well as the fact that they don't think that women should have careers? They constantly call women sluts and whores and base them off of their body count and a bunch of other arbitrary bullshit. It's not obvious to you why women would want to avoid a group of human beings like that?
If you want to go on a date and have her love you, this is exactly what you do. You show up, you get her comfortable, you lower her anxiety, and then you stop trying. You just don't care.
And of course, we have our snacks and our energy drink, none other than the greatest meals in the world. Lunchly, of course, we have the turkey, cheese, and cracker stack. Also the Fiesta Nachos, my personal favorite.
Love.
I think a lot of women are experiencing long periods of time of zero attraction to men.
No, and I feel so seen right now. We have to talk about it because so many women are coming forward and confessing like, hey, for some reason, I don't know why, I have not been actually like genuinely attracted to a man in so long. And Lord, have we been trying.
Hey, what's good, y'all? I think there's a pretty good chance that you've probably heard the expression or the statement or the fundamental truth that men aren't lonely enough. Now that stems from the male loneliness epidemic, which is honestly kind of some made up nonsense, because what they're trying to explain with this is that men have a hard time finding meaningful relationships, whether that's with friends or family or romantic partners, etc. But they don't really come back to the core, the root of this, and realize that the reason for that is the horribly toxic manosphere thinking that makes men think that they can't have close relationships with their friends, or you have to act or behave a certain way to have a relationship, or you have to have so much money and so much self-worth or whatever, and it creates this whole loneliness thing. And instead of actually trying to address the core problem, they just blame women, which is just, you know, the natural next step, right? Just go blame women for your problems, right? And that's where you get men aren't lonely enough, because now there's this entitlement that's mixed in where men who are experiencing this feel like they're entitled to things from women, whether it's companionship, relationships, intimacy, whatever it is. And when just showing up with some money bags in their pockets isn't enough to get those things, they're like, oh, well, look at me, I'm so lonely. Women don't want a traditional man anymore. You know, they don't want to do their roles. They don't want to be a woman anymore. And then that's where you get this whole nonsensical line of thinking.
I'm currently on my way home from a date. First date of 2026. And I have no problems posting this because he told me he doesn't have TikTok. And honestly, even if he did, I wouldn't give a fuck if he saw this. Because this man decided to psychoanalyze everything about me. Everything. He and I met in the wild. We met playing kickball. And we had a really great time. And I was like, oh my god, he's like kind of cute. And like we were having fun. So we decided to go on a date. So we did. And as the date's going on, we're having a lovely time. I'm having a great time. But then he starts getting a little drunker. And that's when the truth starts to really come out. And he was like, psychoanalyze me. And literally was like, I bet you're on anxiety meds. And I was like, yeah, I am. Like, how'd you come to that conclusion? He's like, you just give those vibes. He was like, you're clearly a very sheltered person. You're clearly somebody who thinks you know everything and like has seen the world, but you don't know anything.
Well, in this video, I wanted to touch on a very specific aspect of this whole thing, and that's this vacancy in dating that has affected men in one way and affected women in another, and they're like complete opposites. And in this case, many women have just kind of decided to avoid dating men altogether because kind of sick of the manosphere thinking and this very primitive, antiquated logic that just clearly doesn't work anymore. Obviously, in the modern day, women aren't dependent on men as they were, 50, 60, 100 years ago, where men were pretty much the only ones allowed to make money and to handle banking and resources and things like that. And so, of course, you'd be dependent on that. And a lot of women's lives revolved around their man. That's where you get the whole traditional wife, traditional husband dynamic. Well, now that that doesn't really exist anymore and women are totally self-sufficient and go work a job and provide all the things that a man was supposed to provide in the past, well, you're not needed so much anymore, buddy. Sorry. And unfortunately, men are still bringing the same things to the table that were being brought originally. and it is no longer enough because it's not needed. And a lot of men are struggling to cope with that and are reaching out and finding these weird and toxic backwards avenue of like trying to express this. A lot of them turning to these manosphere influencers, for instance, like Myron Gaines, who thinks it's gay to move in with your girlfriend or to marry them.
Andrew Tate was talking about like having the HQ with the boys, right? And Nick Fuentes talked about it as well. And I saw a lot of people like, oh, that's weird, that's gay, living with your friends or whatever. Yo, I've been telling you guys this shit for years. Do not live with your woman. Like this shouldn't be like some weirdo shit. Do not live with your girl, bro. Don't do it. Well, Myron, I want to get sex. Like I want to be able to like, hang out with her and watch movies. No. I'm going to tell you why. Living with your girl is going to make you a fucking shit. Okay? It's going to make you a fucking
Yeah, I'm not making this up. These were actually his words. Obviously, used stronger, more offensive language than what I said, but at the end of the day, it's what he's saying, which this is the kind of guy who gets millions of views, young men and boys watching this guy thinking that he knows what he's talking about, and other, like these goofy dating coaches who are just like him, peddling this type of backwards information that just makes things worse for this half of the demographics. Whereas for women nowadays, if you go on TikTok and you look into anything dating related, a lot of what you're going to see is, hey, I'm actually happier single than I was chasing relationships with men, and I would much prefer this. This is great. This is awesome, right? You get a lot of that, and it's really not surprising when you look at why that is, which we're going to get to throughout the course of this video. Now, firstly, I really want to show you guys some of this really dumb thinking and kind of where a lot of it comes from. Like I said before, it's these like manosphere influencers, these little alpha male gurus, fake dating coaches, people peddling this nonsense, which is why somehow the younger generations, like younger Gen Z and like upcoming Gen Alpha, has somehow found a way to build upon misogyny instead of cracking down on it like many people have been trying to do. And this is some real goofy goober who thinks women should be treated as children, which this is the first time I'm hearing this, but let's see what Mr. Genius in the sunglasses has to say.
Your life will get easier when you start seeing women as children. They're gonna cry, they're gonna whine for attention, they're gonna not know what's going on, they have no self-awareness, and when you understand this, you can handle them better. You can treat them better. When you handle them as an equal, you'll get killed, you'll get smoked, because they don't operate that way. Their minds don't work that way. They are children, they should be treated as such. And go to my link in bio for dating guides to help you date better.
Okay. So yeah. This is the type of nonsense that people believe nowadays. I mean, people are so gullible on the internet. They believe so much of what they hear. Even this type of nonsensical garbage that I think anybody with more than 18 brain cells is going to hear this and be like, well, that's really dumb. Like, who are you? I don't think it takes a super genius to realize that, no, women are not, in fact, children. They're adults like us, like adult men who are fully capable of processing and doing things and functioning just as well as, if not better than, most men. But yeah, for some reason, people listen to this type of nonsense, they believe it, and they start trying to enact this garbage. And obviously, how are people going to respond to this logic of the person you're trying to engage with or going on a date with thinking that you need to be treated like a child? You're going to be told to go kick rocks and get out of their face. And then men who experience this go home and cry about how hard it is to maintain a stable relationship or to get a girlfriend or whatever it is, and oh, we're so lonely, guys. But it really is their fault at the end of the day, isn't it? Now, this creator here is talking about this notion that she's heard that women are expired after 30. Now, that's probably something you've come across too, or, you know, especially with like big celebrities. I mean, Leonardo DiCaprio is a great example of this, of like they are only with women up until they get to a certain age and then toss them to the curb and then go find another 20-year-old to prey on. And it's so unbelievably widespread that like you can't just ignore it. And this line of thinking, I don't even know exactly where it comes from, but it's so deeply embedded in our culture, and to the point where even younger men are growing up and thinking this way. I mean, it's really disturbing, if nothing else.
So now I'm over 30. That means, dun dun dun, I'm expired. Or at least that's what the men keep telling me in my comments. So a lot of women might think, oh no, I actually don't think a lot of women think that. However, they think that we think that. They think we are absolutely devastated by men not wanting us anymore. Now, I'm 33, so I'm just wondering when the invisibility to men starts. Does that mean then soon I'll be able to walk down the street and not get catcalled? Does that mean that men will stop sexualizing me soon? Does that mean when I'm walking down the street and there's a group of guys, I won't have to cross the street or look busy on my phone anymore? Does that mean that I can go out to a bar and not have to worry about my drink being spiked? If so, then I can't wait to be expired. I can't wait to live a life completely invisible to men. I'm excited for it. I really am. Let's go, girl. And what we want to wear, and we will be invisible to men.
Girl, I'm so sorry to break the news to you. I wish that were true. For your sake, I wish that was true. Unfortunately, no. I don't know who made this arbitrary expiration date thing anyway, but those who apparently think it's a thing don't even live by it because, no, none of those things that she said would stop happening actually would. It doesn't matter if you're 30 or 40 or 50 or whatever, it's probably still going to happen to you. Maybe less as you get older, but it seems like there's almost no escaping it. Now, I have to reference one of my older videos again, one I just made pretty recently, about like workplace harassment that especially women experience, both men and women, but especially women, and it doesn't matter what age you are. Now, this video that I posted had well over 300 comments, and a lot of people were just sharing their stories about the workplace harassment that they experience, of customers coming up and hitting on them saying, hey, let me put a baby in you. A bunch of gross, weird, just obnoxious stuff. And it didn't matter. There was ages ranging from 15 to 50. Like it really didn't matter. It was going to happen no matter what. So when it comes to this expiration date, which is obviously arbitrary nonsense, and I think you have to think like a child if you believe that's the case, that's true, that women expire over 30, which, yeah, I'm sure that's something that these manosphere douchebags are peddling too. I haven't like seen it firsthand, but it wouldn't shock me in the slightest. And she says she gets this in her comments a lot, you know, but these goofballs saying this stuff, I mean, what do they expect? I mean, what kind of world are they really living in where they think that reaching a certain age means you lose value or some nonsense like that as a woman? That's fucking ridiculous. Oh, here's actually another great video of hers where she just says like, women don't care about men's opinions anymore. And yeah, there's a lot of truth to that, and it is so rightfully earned, but I'm just gonna go ahead and let her explain that.
Women just do not care about men's opinions. Like, we don't care if you think we're attractive. We don't care if you think that we look old. We don't care if you don't agree with our choice not to have kids or to have them, to get married or to not, because your opinion is so worthless to us, you know? Like, it's like asking a used toilet brush what they think. Like, it's obsolete. There's no point. From such a place of hate as well. All your opinions come from a deep self-hatred, and you project that out onto women, and we know, and we're onto it, and that's why we couldn't give a fuck about you. And if you need any further proof of this, just look at the men that comment on my videos where I'm just talking about my lifestyle. There will always be men in those comments spouting hate because they hate themselves.
I think this is an awesome take. And I think it's about damn time that this just becomes the status quo, the norm. Genuinely, I think that would help like in so many different ways. Obviously, it wouldn't just help women to be like, you know what, this douchebag man who's saying I shouldn't have tattoos or piercings or look a certain way, dress a certain way, etc. Opinion is completely worthless, completely useless to me, just going to disregard it entirely. Now, that's a great thing in and of itself, but it's also a good thing for men too, because once men learn that their word is not gospel, that they don't have power over other people's lives that they don't even know, that their opinions of women's bodies, etc., don't fucking matter, then they're not, like, at some point, hopefully, the need to make these types of comments or try to, like, push certain viewpoints on people would diminish over time, you know, and like there would actually be growth amongst men, so that like these types of things happen considerably less and stop happening entirely eventually at some point. Is that wishful thinking? Maybe it is. I don't know. But I think it takes, you know, enough people like doing what she's doing, saying what she's saying, putting that out there and making this the status quo, the norm, and changing what, you know, culture or whatever it is has said for decades or whatever about this is your role as a man, this is your role as a woman, this is how you should look as a man, this is how you should look as a woman, etc. When you blow that whole thing apart and open, and you're left with, it doesn't matter what you think, this person's going to do them how they do them, and if you don't like it, then it's not your place to say anything about it, it's not your place to do anything about it, just go on and live your life, you know? That's better for everybody. Now, this creator here has taken the no more dating men approach, and she's going to talk about how her life has changed for the better, and she doesn't see herself ever going back, which is also a great thing.
When I tell you that I have zero interest in dating ever again, I mean that. Like, there is not a single thought in the back of my mind that thinks, oh, maybe one day, or what if. Like, I've dated enough men on the spectrum of good guy to doesn't give a shit to know that they have nothing I want or need. And it's at the point where I can't even imagine myself on a date with a man, because the thought of asking him how his day was makes me cringe. Like, number one, I don't care. And number two, if you tell me it was bad, I'm going to assume you deserved it. Like, that's where my head's at. And I know people think I'm projecting when I talk about how happy I am to be single and free, but as long as there are women and girls who are forced into marriages or who feel like they can't leave for financial reasons or their own safety, I feel like being single as a woman is the ultimate privilege. I just don't know what a man could provide me at this point. Like, companionship, like I have my dog and my friends. Intimacy, like are they even good at that? If you've never been in a long-term relationship before, you might not realize how fast that shit fades. Who's gonna take care of you when you're older? I am so focused on eating healthy, rarely drinking, lifting weights that hopefully I can take care of myself for as long as possible. But beyond that, I invest in my friendships where we look out for each other. And how many men do you know who are excellent caregivers, especially to older women? I actually have so few problems now that I don't date. Like, I'm way less anxious. I spend less on therapy. My pH is balanced. The thing is, being with a man will always include some sort of compromise. And if that's what you want, power to you. For me, I never want to compromise again. And I don't have to when I'm on my own.
Now, I already know that there's a lot of men out there who probably say that she's narcissistic, that she's entitled, that she's undesirable, she's not a real woman, things like that. I that's how they would cope with this information. I already know that. And I'm here to say that's a load of hot garbage. I mean, it's pretty obvious. And I think her approach to this, obviously, while it's not for everyone, is a very good, healthy, and like naturally smart approach to like, well, my dating life has been pretty worthless because, you know, XYZ reasons, and she's tired of it, so she's not going to keep trying to make it work. She's going to do her in a way that works for her. And I think that's a wonderful thing. Now, obviously, this doesn't mean that there's no such thing as a good relationship, you know, a good heterosexual relationship or anything like that. Now, I believe that my wife and I, for instance, have a fantastic relationship, and I think other people also are in fantastic, wonderful relationships as well. And so it's always a possibility, but if you don't genuinely believe that getting into some sort of committed relationship with someone is going to better your life, then there's no point in doing it, right? If you want to have kids, you can adopt. Like, you have options. You don't have to do it the traditional way, or whatever it is that a lot of people are being told when they're growing up, that you need to get a husband and you need to have kids, you got to do it this way, you got to whatever. It's like, no, you don't. You can do it however you see fit, or not at all. It's not about following the traditions that have been laid out for you. It's about finding your own way of living the life that you want to live. And if that's completely single and the only thing you need is your girlfriends, then awesome. And what's so great about like the modern era right now is that you can do that. Right? You can be financially independent and not be, you know, having to serve a man in order to have food on the dinner table or anything like that. You can work a job, do whatever you want to. It doesn't matter. And yeah, there's going to be some folks out there who are real mad that you dare seek independence. But again, what we learned from the previous woman that we just watched, who gives a fuck about that opinion? It's worthless. Now, this last video from this creator here really drives that previous point home of just like, there is no dependence on men anymore. And for a lot of men, that was like your only route to a relationship was like knowing that a lot of women might need you for some financial support or whatever it is, you know? And that doesn't exist anymore. So men have to learn, I don't know, compassion, empathy, being like a present individual in the relationship, somebody who actually puts in work into a relationship and provides more than just money in order to actually have a successful relationship, which should have been the standard all along. But it's good to see that it's either that or you're lonely, you know, choose what you want to do.
There is a cultural shift going on currently that I think really needs to be spoken about. And I've seen some other creators, I'm just making some lunch in between some calls too. I've seen some other creators speak on this, and that being, everyone knows how horrid, literally horrible, the dating pool is nowadays. And literally count your fucking lucky stars if you have found your person and you are not currently in the middle of, in the middle of dating. Because when we say it's bad out there, that may be an understatement. But I think that there is a shift happening that needs to be spoken about.
I'm going to cook after this video too. And not because she inspired me to do so, but she did remind me that I need to do that.
And needs to be spoken about. Basically, I have seen so many women actively choosing to not date in their 30s, in their late 20s, whatever the age may be, actively choosing to not date because there is a shift happening where women don't need men anymore. It didn't used to be like that. Maybe even for our parents' age, it wasn't like that, especially for my mom. Love you, Mom. Like, she started having kids when she was 24 years old. She was like fully dependent on my father and his career and his job. And there is a shift now because at such a young age, we were told to go to college and start the career and better yourself, that women don't need men anymore. And I think that men are really grappling with that fact because it's like an ego hit to them. I'm sorry that you guys literally fucking suck in all ways. All senses of the fucking word, you guys fucking suck. Where, like, I had a date planned for Friday, and I literally canceled on him yesterday because I'm like, I don't really want to go on a date. I don't need to go on a date. And honestly, I'd much rather go to a Pilates class than, like, spend time with a random stranger doing an interview, rapid fire questions that I've done 13 times before. I don't have it in me.
All right, so there's actually one more clip that I want to talk about because I've already kind of like really, you know, spoke on that whole like not really needing men anymore, on like the dependence being gone. And she also explained a little bit better too, talking about like getting educated, focusing on careers and things like that, that has shifted that entirely. So I don't really need to, you know, regurgitate that same information again. But in this case, this turns the conversation in a slightly different direction, where she is an individual who is in her 30s and is struggling to find a worthwhile relationship, you know? And the thing is, there's still that issue for like some, like I said earlier, some of these individuals are totally fine with just like being single, right? Like just totally cool. That's fine. Others are like, I don't want to be single. Like, I do want to have like a family, and I do want to have like a good husband, and I do want to have, you know, that type of life, and I can't get it because I can't find a decent man. Now that's a problem in and of itself, and she does a pretty good job of kind of like explaining that issue.
Literally never thought I'd be one to just be crying on the internet, but I've been doing really good. I've been like super confident in where I am in my life and my friendships and my career. And I live alone with my 2 cats in LA. LA is very expensive. I just got a new car. I have a lot to be proud of. But man, I'm gonna be 33 next month. And I'm just so tired of the dating game. Like, I'm so tired of the dating game. And I'm tired of being single. And this is not like a pick me video. Like, I just feel like as kids, if you're a millennial like me, we were kind of like painted this perfect picture of like, you're gonna fall in love and get married and have kids, and I'm lucky to like have a lot of love in my life, and I have a lot of great friendships, and I've witnessed a lot of amazing relationships. So I'm not saying that it's not possible, because I've seen it be possible. I have friends that have amazing husbands and they're super happy, but I've also seen friends that have like gotten married and gotten divorced, and seen friends that are in relationships that I think they're settling in. And as someone that like, I have worked so hard to build my life, and I'm very, very proud of where I'm at. I am tired of feeling like in order to be in a relationship that I have to settle. I feel like dating is just not the same. I don't know if that's true or not, or maybe, you know, our standards of as women has just changed. I think it's changed a lot, you know, but I just am tired, and I want to have a family, I want to have kids, but I don't want it to just be with anybody. I want it to be with someone that I'm proud of and someone that I admire. And I want to be with a partner that it feels equal, and it doesn't feel like I have to like chase somebody, or feel like I'm putting in more effort, or feel like I have to compromise on my boundaries and the things that I want in order to be in a relationship. And I'm just getting really tired, and I don't want to be on dating apps, and I will meet people in the wild, and it feels inconsistent, and it feels like men feel like they have all the time in the world, and women feel like we are running out of time constantly. And I'm just really tired of it all. And I you know, every other day I'm like super confident. For some reason today I'm not feeling that great, but I feel like every other day I'm like, yeah, I'm super happy being single. Like, I'm so happy by myself, and I am. Like, while that is true, I feel very secure in who I am. I equally just yearn for that love and that partnership and that feeling of you finding your best friend and feeling safe. And I feel like that lack of safety in a relationship is something that I haven't found. And I was dating somebody recently, and like, I thought I had found it, and I was very wrong. And sorry, it feels so gross. And I'm starting, I'm not trying to like sound jaded, but I just am starting to feel like, okay, maybe it's not in the cards for me. And it's
All right, so like I said already, that, you know, some people still want to find that companionship like she does, and a lot of the comments were like, just be happy being single, which I don't think that's good advice. It's not what she's looking for. It's not what she wants. If she wants to just be happy being single, she'd just be happy being single. You know, that's not what she wants to hear, right? Like, not everybody wants to do that, and I think it's important to acknowledge that there's still people who want to have a healthy relationship and a family and things like that, and build that with somebody, and that's perfectly fine too. It shouldn't just be like, well, you should just be single. That's it. Like, that's also toxic. That's just as toxic as saying somebody should only want to be a wife and should only want to bear kids and take care of their home as well. That's just as toxic as that. Now, obviously, I don't have any great advice for her or anything like that, other than, you know, to keep your heart open and just don't settle for anything less than exactly what you picture for yourself, you know. And that might be hard to find, and you might have to search high and low for a long time, or wait for it to come to you. Who knows? Sometimes find it when you're not looking. You never know. Everybody's journey is different. But I just wanted to end on this last one because it is a little bit of a turn from everything else. It's somebody who's getting tired of dating but doesn't want to give up entirely, and kind of comes back to this whole like, well, the dating pool does kind of suck. There's a lot of real shitty men who don't make good partners, good life partners, anything like that. And then you have all these alpha male gurus and dating coaches who are poisoning the well even more than it already is. So yeah, dating is a nightmare right now if you are a woman. So I'm sorry, y'all. But anyway, that's it for this video. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I'll see you all next time.